we need to get this game started. Fury come into this as the bridesmaid of the entire Asia League. They have consistently, over the last 3 major events, only just barely missed out in a best of 3 series against Bleed, but they come into this with very much the same storylines. Xenox, there is no way that you can look at this roster and give them anything but credit.
Yeah, I think for Fury, it's just going to be a case of being able to take out Bleed, right? I think everyone else they should have relatively covered. You go back to stage 1 throughout the group stage. You know, they did end up losing to Bleed in that matchup, and that's when they lose a couple of credits in the bank. They also just started poor in general after losing to Shalita in day 1, but they improved as the season went on. And by the end of the stage, they had a very, very good grand final against Bleed. I was talking about it on the Jake and Guz show last night with Guz, and you know, there's every world in which they could have won that grand final 2-0 and went off to Manchester that second map going 8-6 concert. So they were that close, couldn't quite get the job done. So you come back into this stage now and you say, can you get over that hurdle?
Mate, I tell you what, the over-under on you plugging yourself in any broadcast is just, it's absolutely absurd. Let's go ahead and talk about the team that they will be playing, Dire Wolves. They've had a little bit of a roster shuffle, if you will. I thought Harambe might have been playing, but it doesn't look like he will be, obviously sitting potentially behind the team. Once again, just trying to direct things and move this conversation along to the map vetoes. We're not even going to bother. Harambe said, let's get this game on the stream. It's painful. Guys, as we look at these bands, I don't really think that I'm going to take any note on where we're going. I think that this is still a match that could be close, but Fury should be favoured no matter where we go.
Yeah, I suppose important to quickly note for everybody watching, potentially this is your first match of the stage if you missed EU. Lair is now in the map pool replacing Oregon, although especially in the Apex sub-regions, I at least am anticipating it to have a very, very low pick rate, and it's Dire Wolves to band it down on this occasion. We go to Club, again, very staple map. It's been in and around for quite some time now. It's the second preference map for Dire Wolves, although with their roster and now Juicy on board for coaching, that's probably going to shape up to be a little bit different now, whereas it's more of a mid-pack map for Fury. But again, a mid-map for Fury is certainly going to be one that's still dangerous for Dire Wolves, no doubt.
Mid-map, that I feel like that's got a ring to it. Now, there was, I think Furlax was shown in the rosters, but obviously he has moved on. So that will be Harambe sitting in place.
Dead.
And I did... Well, no, I said moved on. I didn't say he's moved on to the bloody afterlife, mate. I tell you, we just love it around here. But I think when we look at these two rosters, maybe to give a little bit of context, these are two long-standing rosters. Obviously, Fury have really not made too many changes over the last couple of years. Dire Wolves have come into it, and I think it's only Pika and Souffle that have lasted the test of time, if you will. So I'm a little bit worried about Dire Wolves heading into this, Xenox. I think that this game could potentially slip out of hand if they're not careful. This is a very staple map, but having said that, this is a map that Fury should be well and truly comfortable on. We go to Clubhouse for the opening match of the Asia League. Will Dire Wolves get off to a running start, or will it be much of the same, with Fury taking on the form of dominance? Let's get underway. Jake, Guz, enjoy.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Don't work too hard. That was a very hot 5 minutes that we got from you there, but as always, top notch. Opening match of the stage, Guz. What about this? Fury, Dire Wolves, great game. We get a team that were very, very close to being able to win out stage 1, but ultimately fell short. As for Dire Wolves, slight change-ups. Harambe back into the chair. You've got Bin Bin now making his debut at this sort of pro league level. I mean, this is a free punch of you, Dire Wolves, I think, right? Play day one against Fury. Fury's got it all to lose here. Going over to Clubhouse as well. Dire Wolves first up on the defense. This could be a really good way to kickstart their campaign for stage 2.
Yeah, for sure. Eager to jump into things. It's the Grim off the board first. Has continued to be quite a prevalent operator, quite oppressive post rework, and teams are finding more creative ways to utilize that utility, and so it is becoming a more common ban. We don't see the hard breach directly taken out, as that Ying will be the second attacking ban. Again, somebody who's incredibly oppressive in the execute, and that's probably the environment in which Fury could have some of their weaknesses exposed if Divers want to play a really aggressive brand of Siege, which we have seen from them in the past. Valkyrie to follow through, and then the final defensive ban is probably a little bit more open now. It certainly will be in the next patch.
Looks good.
Yeah, he does look good. But it
looks
is the
good.
mirror,
Look at
so pretty traditional.
Yeah, look at the mustache. He's got little chin strap as well. I'll tell you what, Harambe's been hitting the gym.
He's looking fresh and fit. He's raring to go.
He is looking for. No wonder he's back in the gaming chair, guys. He's ready to go for stage 2, and hopefully for his sake and his team's sake, the Direwolves as a whole are indeed. We get Pika back, Seal's back, Souffle's back, and of course with Bin. And look, one thing we haven't touched on. We didn't really have a lot of time on the proverbial desk, but Juicy in the coaching chair, guys. Thoughts on that?
Thoughts on that? Unexpected is probably the one-word summarization of that acquisition for the Direwolves, but Juicy brings along a lot of competitive experience into this team. Now, it is from a playing perspective as opposed to coaching, and so there's going to no doubt be an adjustment period for him in learning that role and what he can actually offer to the team. I don't know if necessarily he'll be a quote-unquote motivational coach. I certainly would expect him to be more analytical, but perhaps at this level that could be what gives Direwolves the edge. I would say that typically Direwolves historically have actually had pretty strong mental and are quite a positive, upbeat team, so injecting some analytical skill into the roster could be a difference maker.
10 seconds left before insertion.
So, new HUD as well, for those that maybe didn't catch EWC. It's making its way in here for Pro League. We've had a couple of EUL action days as well, so I think people are starting to get used to the HUD. I do hope we continue to see some tweaks made to it going into maybe the major, although I doubt there's probably enough time for that. The best element that I've always really enjoyed with the new HUD, though, certainly is the location. Every single player, you get a really good idea. At a glance, it's very easy to see things such as a 5-stack basement. All 5 players for Direwolves in the basement. Over to Dirt, though, for an early push for him. Lycolis who's taken a little bit of damage on the Hibana, and with the kit making its way through. Harambe looking to maybe make a little bit of contact. Might just be a case of shoot drone, fall back. So far has not actually been thrown out there for a swing. Wants to make said contact. A bit of aggression from Harambe. Doesn't quite work out straight away. Down to 30 HP. We are going to see the Logic Bomb ring out from I9. And again, here comes the flashing shield of Blitz. And Cryptjay will get the opening kill of this match and for this stage. And to follow it up from Lycolis behind him, getting rid of Souffle. Dark will go down. So one back at least for Direwolves, but already a defense that is being picked apart.
Yeah, shields are so incredibly powerful at the moment post rework. But the Monty and the Blitz incredibly viable, and there's even been matches where both have been banned out, and this is the reason why Cryptjay is still able to go deep. Collects yet another kill. No contest from the defense. Pika still. It is effectively 2 versus 2 with BG Man on the ground, so still salvageable. And Lycolis needs to transition in towards site and get pressure on the plant.
Minute and a half remaining. Bit of a scrappy way to kind of begin the stage. Certainly Asia can play like that. And sitting still at the moment for Cryptjay. Don't think they're going to be able to get BG Man back up, so it may end up just being a 2-on-2 here. Pika, what can he find? Coming out of church now. Nitros are thrown towards the direction of Cryptjay with a bit of help from Seal. They're able to take him down, and suddenly Lycolis on an island in a 1v2 with lots of time, and he swings and gets the headshot. Now, creating said 1v1. Seal, though, has the, well, health advantage. 2 HP for Lycolis. The pistol could get brought out here. As we go into the split view, really you can clearly see on the viewpoint of Lycolis absolutely stressing. And eventually tried to go for a boost. It fails and Seal gets a free kill. Yeah, red ping information the whole way, so no surprise there that Seal was able to close that one out. And look, scrappy start, but I did like what I saw in terms of the aggression from Direwolves. For Fury, pretty direct, playing through that dirt push. Not quite the typical way you would see Clubhouse get played.
Yeah, unfortunately there, the overall execution from Fury was a little bit sloppy. They didn't have the diffuser directly behind the Blitz and able to play off that immediate pressure. Instead got stranded over towards Dirt. It then led to that really awkward 1 versus 1. And so just a case of timing and synchronization there from the Fury attack not being quite good enough. And so the plaudits go to Direwolves round 1. Eventually able to clean up the Blitz, and then really good work there from Seal in the 1 versus 1. Had that BPC information, and then immediately, as Lycolis looked to clear it, was able to swing and find that pick. He's 3rd in the opening round. And no doubt a bit of a confidence booster for DW.
Yeah, we go to the replay here. Again, the Blitz certainly can find success through Dirt, and I think for the most part, if you're Cryptjay, you're pretty happy with that round, but outside of him on that Blitz, everyone else kind of just falling apart for Fury. Lycolis had a chance at the end, but I mean, he was always in the worse off position in comparison to Seal. Good start for Direwolves. Of course, we always kind of take note, defense, clubhouse, as is the case when it comes to Rainbow Six Siege. These will be the sites, though, as we go upstairs. You know, gym bedroom and potentially cache and CCTV after this, where we will be, I think, seeing Direwolves get a bit more tested. If they can go around the world and get 3-0 start here, though, would be great. Would put the pressure right onto Fury. So a big round coming up. Cycling the Shockwire battery, peek up. There's ex-Kairos looking to open up the castle barricades to get some sight lines opened up in towards gym and bedroom. BG Man working the wall over towards kennels. This looks like it'll probably play in a little bit more conventional manner than what we saw in the opening round.
Yeah, good start in terms of the utility from Fury. It's not being heavily contested from Direwolves. In fact, they're not stationed inside of cache at all. Instead, double stacking con with one deployable shield in play. Fury will drain this quite quickly and be able to gain this space. They do, again, they need to be mindful of that con angle, but with the Monty in play, you can charge forward, get that information rather risk-free, certainly at medium range. Player spotted to the right, or at least the shield is pinged out. Angle still being held. This is really aggressive from Seal.
Struggling to make his way through on that Montang. You can clearly see this is proving to be a bit of a boon for Direwolves. Seal holding strong. Just over a minute remaining. And the sentry well. Hunting information. They clearly want to try and deal with this deployable shield. Maybe expecting the cross though. He's just not going to be able to get through. Like Coles had the pistol out. Really well played from Fury. That was a really well executed push in towards Con to clear out those positions and angles. Yes, Direwolves maybe wanted to play aggressive there, but ultimately that was their undoing. Maybe too aggressive. Nice done from Harambe, but at this point it's just stat padding. Although he finds 2, needs to find 3 more, and quickly shut down by BG Man. And it is an early attacking round found for Fury.
Yeah, really good bolt there from the cap. And Fury then able to capitalize upon that. The double stack from Con there from Dials was the setup to try and alleviate that pressure a little bit, or at least force a refrag once Seal's position was displaced. But unfortunately, that trade did not land. Fury able to collect, then got that space. Dials on the defense, forced to then quickly try and make more plays in that position, even though they're unfavorable. Yeah, and then ultimately it unravels and leaves Harambe all alone. So good work there from Fury. Again, they're continuing to lean into the shield meta. It was the Blitz round 1, which helped create space and put them in a winnable position, but the diffuser didn't follow. Round 2, the Monty used the scout, get information, rather risk-free, then able to communicate for the Capitao to come through, and with everyone else positioned correctly, it was a pretty easy cleanup. So from this point onwards, it's pretty clear to me that Fury are going to persist with it, and it's up to Direwolves to innovate defensively if they're going to stand a chance in leading at the end of this half.
Yeah, not ideal dropping a defensive round this early on, but I did like what I saw from Fury, even for the sake of Direwolves, looking to kind of just change things up rather than the kind of standard old Siege that we typically see, even more so when it comes to Clubhouse. Certainly not the kind of holds that we will generally see. That round, the way that it played out, isn't one that's a copy-paste from the thousands of clubhouses that we've seen previously. Once again, going with the Montang, really leaning into the shield play for Fury. The blitz in the opening round. Back-to-back usage of the Montang. As we do go back to gym bedroom. I think for Direwolves, it'll be kind of a case where now, okay, well, plan A didn't necessarily work. Now we'll go plan B. We'll try it out. Maybe a little bit more of a hold towards the side itself rather than, say, Con. Stock standard for Fury, though, as they go over towards CCTV. They'll open this up with the Maverick BG Man. Not too much pressure on this position, on this location. Seal inside a cache. Playable shield, Nitrocell, good utility brought by Sentry. Of course, we saw it back in Stage 1 cars. Striker and Sentry actually got a pretty decent usage throughout Pro League, and I think that's going to continue here into Stage 2.
Again, similar here from Fury with the Habana pellets to help clear the castle barricades on the exterior. And those are now pressure points that the defensive Direwolves need to be mindful of, as the crossfires that can be established here now by Fury could prove to be dangerous again. It'll be interesting to see how heavily they invest in towards Con this time around. Fury again bringing the Monty and the Cap combo, and we saw that to great effect last round. Dark holding a flank through blue. I think that's Souffle on the other side. This is definitely a fight that Souffle will not win. In fact, he's very lucky to survive that. The only reason he wins that is because it's online. Or survives that. He didn't win it, but yeah.
Dial's now back to site. Is probably the right play here. Logistics bunkered down by Harambe. Pika though still holds lobby.
Attackers have located a bomb.
In fact, you've still got Souffle over towards blue as well. A little bit more of a slower pace here from Fury, and it's going to work out for Diables. They find the opening kill. Quick trade though from Crit Check. Find 4 early on in this match. Good kill though from Dark. Double from the top of Red Stairs, and suddenly again Fury find themselves in a pretty comfortable position. 30 seconds. Ring around the mattress. Easily won for like Hollister, and he too, same as Crit Jade, now has 4 kills inside the opening 3 rounds, and Harambe solo once again 2 rounds in a row. It's deja vu on Gym Bedroom. Sure, it played out quite differently, guys, but the same ending comes through in the 3rd round, and it's a great start for Fury.
Yeah, and again, it's showing that Fury can match adaptation. Dai was there looking to play a double flank, which is very high risk. And despite losing the first pick, they were able to recover and then converge on the positions that were weakened there. And it meant that the flank never really had an opportunity to disrupt the push. So very positive response there from Fury. Back-to-back rounds. Looking like one of the top teams in Asia at the moment, as expected.
Attackers need to locate and
And for
defuse
them, it's
bombs.
about just continuing this momentum forward. Last time on basement, their attack was a bit desynced. They ran the blitz as opposed to the Monty, which they're showing currently to help facilitate aggression through dirt. Dai was not really bringing the hardest of counters to that potentially happening again. There is a focus on hard bridge denial with the Tubarao and the Kaid combo. Still double trap available though. So we'll see how Dai will adapt this time around.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good start though, is it? I mean, this is a little bit
10
disappointing.
seconds to go.
I think when we kind of looked at the schedule for tonight, I think it may have been Rob J. Monday himself who kind of said, "Oh, we got a bit of a decent game to kickstart things," and you kind of look at Dials and you think that as we said in our very short pre-show, this has got to be that next step, this kind of stage, right? You got to be looking at Fury, you got to be looking at Bleed. Can you find ways to get victories over them? Now, admittedly, of course, this is a league that has now got playoffs. Play day one in this match, and a best of 1 is not necessarily be and all. Fury themselves, you think back to stage 1, lost their opening 2 play days and ultimately then almost won the grand final. But for me, defense to Clubhouse, and again for Direwolves, it just doesn't look like they're at the same kind of level as, well, Fury in this instance. Crit J, fast moving blitz through Con. Clears out this top floor. Does so in a pretty hastily fashion. 5 towards basement now for Direwolves once again as they look to try and find a second round win.
Yeah, early logic bomb as well used from Fury to aid on the clear. Certainly not a strategy you want to be overly reliant on, as next week that will no longer be possible, or at least certainly not quite as early into the round with a refresh rework. It's certainly going to be an intriguing point to follow moving forward. How many teams are being prioritizing scrimming on the test server as opposed to the current live build? How much precedent, how much focus are they putting into this first play day? As you've mentioned, it has limited stakes, but I think can still be used as a gauge. While I've been yapping, I9 has fallen. I'm presuming it was off the back of some damage from below, as that line of sight was being opened up. Now 20 HP, I9 needs to be mindful if he's to expend the rest of his utility. Meanwhile, vertical being established, and with 70 seconds on the clock, it's a bit of a stalemate currently.
Yeah, but I think Fury have already shown they've got the ability to hit site pretty quickly. The blitz, something to keep in mind. Was quite successful in the opening round, but that was through a dirt push. Even still here, whether it's down main or a hatch drop, I think Crit J can be quite influential towards the latter stages of this round. Like Hollis will just open up in towards Church. He get back of Arsenal. Good positions at least for Direwolves here on site. All 5 players up. This is typically what you want. And the Zoto canister delaying here from Bin Bin. No kills yet here in his Pro League debut. 0-3 inside of the opening 4 rounds now. 30 seconds left. And maybe a good opportunity, though, on that 2 per hour to get himself on the board here, as Fury are going to have to just send their way in towards site. I imagine this is really going to be your chance to shine. Logic Bomb has been utilized by Dark. In they go for Fury, and it is indeed all Fury as they just do as I said, Guz. They hit sight, and they do it well. Crit J goes up to 6. The blitz, the shield play has been too good for Direwolves. They've had no counter, and for the 3rd round in a row, it's Harambe left by himself alive with like 4 or 5 players on the other side. This is not turning into a good game at all for Direwolves. In fact, it's an absolute disaster. This is shocking from Direwolves defensively.
Yeah, I think that round probably best highlights throughout, what we've seen thus far. A great experienced team versus a team of good players that are still finding their feet. The pre-execute setup there from Direwolves before the push came through looked great. They kept triple wall closed until the very end of the round. They had blue reinforced with Azami Keeper barriers, and that looked very difficult to push. Was well fortified. Kitchen hatch was still closed. There was really no pressure dirt that I could see either. It was very much a frontward stack there. But the second the triple wall got popped, Bin entered that line of sight, entered an unfavorable fight, lost it. The rest of the crossfires onto the blitz, again unsuccessful from Direwolves, and then they were able to flood that church position. So all of the hard work they did early on in that round, especially in regards to the denial utility, was really quite good. But unfortunately, that last phase of the round was where the differences were made. They're just able to find kill after kill after kill, and just 0 trades there from the Direwolves whatsoever. Like, Harambe is last alive, but he just has no impact from that position.
Yeah.
The blue hold as well, even despite me mentioning it was strong, and no value from there, so they didn't have that fallback position. Pretty much everything that could go right there for Fury did. So there was, I think, in some respect, a small element of luck that maybe Direwolves weren't able to find at least something in that round.
I think that comes
It's still a
down to
testament to
positioning,
their, it was a testament to their pressure and positioning, and also their timing, which they've improved upon. Round 1 of this match, the timing was not great, but that has certainly improved.
So 3 attacking rounds for Fury. That's been a great start to the stage for them. They look like they're kind of picking up where they left off. And typically, they rule the roost when it comes to this region. And Direwolves, I mean, look, it's a long way back now, but it's all about just kind of saving face, isn't it? I think forget the result. Win, loss, doesn't really matter that much at this point in the stage. It's such a long stage. You can build and find form later on. And you typically want to build and find it and peak that towards the finals, the playoffs. This is really just kind of a, in some ways, really high-level scrim. Superplay finds an opening kill onto Iron 9. Little change up here in the way they want to kind of defend this. Into the 5th round, 2 rounds to go in this half. They get rid of the Jackal of all people, who certainly can deal with this roam game. Taking him out early is going to make this a bit more difficult for Fury, and facing somewhat adversity early in a round for the first time here. You think back to even the opening round, they didn't really see much adversity. It kind of just came down to a bit of a scrappy fight, then a 2v2. Playing now down a player, but straight down blue. I mean, how is Crit J just allowed to waltz into sight, flash, pistol, kill? Suddenly with a bit of sight control as well, and they've got hatch. Guys, Direwolves are just, like, you got that opening kill. That's when you fall back sight. That's when you defend these positions, anchored down. Instead, they doubled down on the roam game, gave up sight. Crit J just slips in through the back door. Suddenly, it's a 4 versus 1.
Oh, it's round over. Unless Bin pulls off one hell of a clutch. 22 HP. And it is a 1 versus 2. Diffuser still to be collected. Like Cole's revived though, so he can play for information, no 1 HP, and the Blitz still continues to have forward vision. Like Cole's for the plant. And this round has been a little bit of a disaster from Direwolves. Overcommitting to the roam, Fury exploiting the weakest point of entry. Final player falls, and that's 4 rounds now for Fury.
Yeah, I mean, this is... So, the early portion of the round is actually not that bad. I think when you're playing basement, you go for a roam game. The idea, at least when you think of, like, what is our core win condition, it's find a kill. Get at least 1. When you kind of look at clubhouse basement at the highest level, like, if you're 4 attacker versus 5 defender, I don't have the statistics in front of me, guys, but I don't need it. It would be an incredibly high win rate for the defense already on what is a site that's typically, tough to attack into. So it means that if you actually get that first win condition, then play to your second win con, which is to go back to site, hold positions, hold angles, play the cross, deny the ability to get into site, and they just don't do that.
Yes, I mean, sometimes you can play for delayed retake, but in the face of the blitz, where you need more than one player to establish crossfires and play into the util on site, it's just not a viable strategy in that instance. So, again, the credit goes to Fury because they're still finding these win cons. A lot of teams, they still would have been stalled out for a prolonged period and not just committed to a play. But they found that window of opportunity, found the space, able to pull it off, and then even with a little bit of pressure towards that plant, still able to convert. So it's unfortunate here for Pika. Like, he's a solo player, and even with the mine there, it's just not enough to counter pressure Crit J on that blitz who's been running riot.
That's also like in that instance, like does Pika need to play Arsenal there? Can he not just push up if you're playing that roam game? You're almost giving them secret towards blue. That's a large portion of the map. Imagine if instead he's holding like generator looking towards secret, then he spots the blitz, then you fall off that, you can con that, you give yourself more time. Instead, it's like he plays the close angle on the door. By the time the blitz is swung around, you're already full white. Early logic bomb, by the way. Very early. And again, very fast paced. Crit J. I mean, he has absolutely decimated them with this blitz. It's been a tremendous performance from Crit J. Playing this very well, understanding his strengths and weaknesses, where he can push, can't push. It's another basement attempt here for Direwolves. I mean, and again, this time they kind of revert back now, 5 on site, try and just lock down these positions. So straight down to main, Crit J's. Or I mean, at that point, if you're Fury, you've already worked this out. They're either going to roam, and that's going to be a heavy roam, or they're going to be 5 on site. There's 2 minutes to go, and they've already got bot main.
Yeah, the shield rework has exposed a lot of teams that struggle defensively in establishing ways to counter them. And I know that's ironic to say because they are very difficult to counter in the current state, I understand that. But the best teams, either in the pre-match, will discuss that and have a plan to deal with it, or they just straight up ban one of the shields. And I think if Direwolves had their ban phase over again, especially with this intel going forward, I don't think the Blitz is going to be making it through in future.
What about the Montang though, which we know like Hollis can play really, really well. We already saw it. Gym bedroom, I think. This is just
one or
clearly
the other. One or the other.
I mean, absolutely. You got to get at least rid of one.
Like Hollis at least has a bit more of a historical. There's a precedent there that he's played the Monty in the past, which was why I was a little bit surprised they didn't ban that. Again, in hindsight, though, Crit J's been farming on Blitz, so yeah, I think whatever the approach was pre-game from Direwolves, it was always going to be a challenge. But as evident, Fury
Man, Crit J is just like abusing this blitz. Rotates towards Oil, drops down. He could just sprint down here, really. Can shoot him to try and slow him down, but now he can kind of slow his own pacing down on his own volition. I9 with an easy kill onto Bin, and once again, they fall apart. Flawless. Absolutely flawless attacking. And you know what? I mean, for Fury there, that is exactly what we expect from them. That is exactly how they should be playing. When we did the power rankings, I want to say I'm gonna scroll back up and find ours, because I know that when we kind of talk about this region, it's this proverbial top 2. It's Fury, Bleed. You gave Fury a 9. It's looking great. You're looking like a genius. Bleed not too far behind, 8.9. And then you had Direwolves at 5.5. I tell you what, guys, you've hit the nail on the head here. So is Rob. And somewhat, maybe I could have put them a little bit lower the way that I'm kind of looking at it right now. I had it as a 2.5 gap. That's not good enough. So 5-1, really dominant half. How much? It's always that combination as well, right? It's part Direwolves and it's also part Fury. Direwolves, the way they played that defensively, quite shocking. Fury, though, on the other hand, abused the blitz. Really good play from Crit J. Good teamwork, reminding that attack in towards Con, where Direwolves offered a little bit with that shield play. Fury worked through that really nicely, really well, and worked out a way to take that round comfortably. So really good half from Fury. Loved what I saw from them.
Yeah, Fury abused the meta, and again, it is the shield meta at that. Very difficult to counter. I'm not sitting here saying it's easy. Even some of the best teams struggle, but that's why they'll ban one of them out in the prep phase and then have better systems inside of the server to try and deal with the second, which may pop up. If Fury can do it in the first half, maybe Direwolves can remain somewhat competitive here in the second. They'll bring the Monty for round number 7. It is basement defense. But Fury looking to aggress here a little bit on the roam. Several outlines off site. And so we'll see how Divers look to try and break this down. More likely than not that Harambe will send it forward and scout for information on that Monty. He also has Secretary Hard Breach as well to aid in a bit of destruction as well if required. The Habana and Mav also available for sight if needed.
Yeah,
but here is Harambe, and this is the key part of the round.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting, right? Because we spoke about why would you not ban the Montang or Blitz. There's every world in which you don't ban the Montang because Harambe can play it and they want to play it. And maybe they look at the Montang as that crutch to allow them to enter sites. 4 versus 4, nicely done from Harambe entering in on the Montang. I think what they will take away from this is if either they're not going to play Blitz and coupled with the fact they don't know how to play against it, that becomes a target ban if you Direwolves. So you can take certainly learnings from this game. I mean, by no means is this over, but I don't envision Direwolves are going to find 5 attacking rounds here on Clubhouse against Fury. Somewhat okay start, 90 seconds left, 4v4. You still got Harambe on that Montang. Full health. Result avoid it, never mind. What? How are you losing your life there? I need a replay of that one. Stat, Harambe must have had shield down. Easy kill for Crit J on the swing. Making his way up main. And Fury with the player advantage now going into the latter stages of this 7th round.
Yeah, pretty inexcusable mistake there. The Monty giving away his life for free, untraded. Now no pressure down bot main, which that shield would have really helped provide, and in combination with the motor hatch being opened up, would have made things quite uncomfortable for the defense. Now not the case. 2 smoke canisters still up to help stall. First one a little bit of a waste. The Souffle still able to open up the hatch. Pika immediately drops. Flash through.
Got 1 drone. There's no info. This is just a drop. Hope for the best. A bit of a blind swing here. Pika has really no idea where these players are and eventually loses his life. I mean, that's just a dry push from Pika. 4 versus 2. Admittedly, yeah, the drone economy has just been really awful from Direwolves this round. Fury played this so well, though. As soon as they even brought it back to 4v4, they fell back to sight. There's really no time, no chance for Seal. Stuck in, mate. Swing, I9, swing, my boy. He doesn't even need to swing. He does lose his life. Probably should be winning that if you're I9. Close angle, a little bit of an off angle. But Jay will finish it off with the shotgun, though. And it is a 6th round found for Fury. Well, we had some technical difficulties getting the stream up tonight, Guz. But guess what? Speed run means we are back on schedule.
How very kind of... was it Fury or Divers? I'm not too sure. Either way, tactical timeout. So a pause in the action. Funnily enough, from Fury... Maybe just quickly chatting over that previous round, what their setup is going to look like for their next defensive objective. It will more than likely be Gym Bedroom. That's the popular rotation currently. But back to the previous round, as that shot missed.
I feel like he was holding that too close to the wall and needed to maybe lean it out a bit to the left. He's not gonna jiggle peek that.
He's playing land meta online. It's like that other engagement. But once the Monty dies there, and especially giving the advantage away, it's just round over. It's been very clear in this match how powerful the shields have been in creating space and these playmaking opportunities, and to lose it for free over towards main stairs was just a massive blunder.
How much do you put into the stock? You know, you look at those Fury cameras and you got Vaughn behind them, or Mad Duck Ranger, whichever one he goes by. I think it's Vaughn on the back of the shirt. And like, you're in this setup, you've got your coach standing behind you. It's almost like LAN environment for them. I mean, that's such a big advantage when you go to then look at Direwolves and they're all playing in their bedrooms, etc. Like, it's not a lot. Like, I don't think it's like a massive, like, 50% boost, but it's a good 5-10%. It is something.
No, totally. I think that kind of environment exemplifies both strengths and weaknesses. If the dynamic of the team is great, then everyone gets a big morale boost. If it's shit, well, then you're all in trouble. So it's all about maintaining that strong culture and environment, and I think that over the years, that's something that Fury, with their stability, have been able to achieve probably more so than other rosters. So that's why I had them top team in the region. Only just, but I'm liking what I'm seeing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you must feel a little bit vindicated. You had them as your #1 seed. I mean, I don't think there's a single person that was like, oh my god, guys, how could you have that? You know, when you kind of look at I mean, I've seen pretty much everyone's rankings, and I think everyone's thoughts are very much that it's like 1A, 1B when it comes to Fury and Bleed. For Fury, though, it's like, you know, we said on the pod was, what is their limit? Have they reached it? Is there something else they can go to? I mean, what I'm seeing right now, though, is a Fury that is taking this very seriously compared to the beginning of Stage 1, where they looked a little bit lackadaisical in Stage 1. Recall back stage to Play Day 1, Play Day 2, in those losses. They really just got off slow. This is the complete opposite. Fast, straight away, straight into it, not messing around. 6-1, get the job done. And it's a really good thing to see. The professionalism for Fury, I think, maybe has gone up. And I'm very excited to see what they can do this stage.
It's all about peaking at the right time, though, in this league. So hopefully for Fury, it's not a case of laying all their chips down here in the first couple of weeks and then other teams read them and catch up. Pika, though, to find entry here around 8. Monty to scout inside of Cash, and that allows Pika to get another. So good work there from the Dials, playing around the Monty correctly this time around. Crit J still a threat, though, up to 13 kills. But a tall ask alongside I9 to bring this round back.
Yeah, certainly with that Montang as well, still on the table. I mean, if that had been dealt with, then there's every chance that maybe you could bring this. But, you know, Crit J, like, well, look at that contact, but can't do a lot about it. Frag grenade, second one, got a bit of damage. Crowed headshot onto Pika. Yeah, go small, my friend. Goes for the guard break early because he knows he can go quite fast. He has played this so well. Again, trying to just get the shield down, and he does. Crit J, he can finish this one off. Oh my goodness. Souffle's scared. He doesn't know what to do because Crit J's hunting him down. Fury have taken this one 7-1. Oh my goodness. It's over. Oh, just...
What was the end of that round? I don't think I have ever witnessed a conclusion to a match. Never mind a round quite like that. That was
baffled. I am completely baffled. I said coming into this stage, I've got my son sleeping in the other room. I don't want to get too loud, but like that, I'm just like, what just happened? All right, let's get Rob in.
Yeah, let's get Rob in.
Oh, hey, I don't know what I just witnessed. I think I just witnessed a murder. I think that was just a
There's
flat
nothing
out
there,
murder.
Rob, to pull out, so you just got to scratch it.
I know, it's all gone. It's all gone. I mean, like, Crit J could walk on water at this point and I would not be baffled. This is just a display of dominance from Fury. And coming into today, this was a very big talking point for both Fury and Bleed, which is that they have to get off to a start that leaves no questions. You know, I think Xenox made a couple of points about, you know, the Jolita match that that Fury had back in stage 1, which it was a very close 8-7, which... At the end of the day, a lot of people were talking about SI burnout, right? But for Fury, they're coming off the back of really a massive break. They've only had EWC quals coming into this. We needed to see a Fury that was going to make a statement from the start. They've absolutely done it. Now, Guz, I don't want to harp on it too much, but the conversation about shields and the way that we need to, I think, preface it on the desk. How would you best describe what we're expecting to see this stage? And I'm saying that with no cap. I'm saying that seriously, because what I just saw was an absolute onslaught.
I think I would describe Shields in their current state is that they exemplify strong attacking teams by, you know, allowing them to get that information rather risk-free and then convert that with pressure. And on the flip side, it really exacerbates and exposes weak defensive teams that don't crossfire properly, that feed into it, that don't counter it correctly, that offer no counter pressure. And again, like I said, I think a couple of times on the broadcast, like, that's easier said than done. I'm under no illusion that the shield rework is very strong and it's difficult to play against. But we've been begging for attack buffs for ages now, right?
A long time.
So I don't absolutely despise it. And as we saw there, good players like your Crit J's can still counterplay against shields if you have the correct mechanics and you're able to get yourself in playmaking positions. So I think that's going to be a trend that we continue to see throughout this stage, probably playing catch up to some of the other major regions. And yeah, not anticipating that pace to slow down. Hopefully, hopefully Zergs doesn't DC, but hopefully see more teams ban out shields going forward.
Sorry, I'm just playing with my focus slider because I got to focus up.
Oh, that's true. You're going to have to focus up. I think the rest of the team is going to have to focus up. Look, it's rough. It's rough to see that for Direwolves. I think there's I want to throw back to a stat that I saw at the end of the first half, which is 1.4 KPR. Now, KPR stands for kills per round. That is how many direwolves had. That was their KPR. Crit J alone had 1.3. So that's kind of showing you the difference between what that first half probably could have looked like and what it ended up looking like. Xenox, when we start to, I guess, preface this for the stage, do we open the conversation to, where direwolves potentially are coming into this? Because they've lost 2 players. We've got Harambe, who we all love, we all know and love. There's no question about it. He hasn't played for a very long time. I'll give you a little bit of context as to what I'm throwing to you with. I spoke to Harambe right before we came to broadcast, and he was saying he's a little bit worried for the stage just because obviously, there's a little bit of turmoil in terms of players being settled and prepared and him having to come in. It feels a little bit janky for the roster right now. I mean, what hope do we have for Direwolves after a start like this?
Yeah, probably not a lot. But again, it's always that sort of. It's probably never as bad as you think it is, and maybe it's not always as good as you think it is. Right? You're gonna have levels to this, and I think for Direwolves, you got to break it down as a team and say, look, it's play day 1, it's day 1, shocking start. What can we learn from it? What can we take away? What are the key takeaways? And the easiest one is, this is actually now where Juicy's job begins. It didn't begin when he joined. It's now. Right now, this is where Juicy's going to get paid the big bucks. If he's getting paid, I have no idea. Hopefully he is. Because now this is where you go through with your coach and you break it down and you dissect and you say, okay, well, where did things go wrong? Well, clearly, Guz can see it. I can see it. Rob, you can see it. Blitz, shield play, all of these kind of things. So you can kind of take it step by step and say, oh, well, okay, that was clearly where things went wrong. How do we rectify that? How do we work on that? How do we then fix it? And then who knows, when the teams meet again in playoffs, either they ban it or they figured out how to play against it. So I wouldn't, as I said, it's not as bad or it's not as good. It's play day 1, but a really good result for Fury.
It certainly is. And again, just to reiterate coming into this stage, again, I know we kind of prefaced it before the start of the show, actually, as we pretty much introed the entire league. Fury are at the exact same level that Bleed are, and there's no doubt about it. The big question will be, where do they stand at the end of the stage? Can they come in? Can they make that announcement? And fortunately, we actually have someone that might be able to answer some of our questions. We've got Lycolis on the line. Let's welcome him in for the first time for Stage 2. Lycolis, congratulations, massive victory. I mean, there's no two ways about it. I see you might be in a new facility behind you. What's the feeling like as the team coming into Stage 2?
In our boot camp in Thailand like a month ago. We've been like screaming every day, preparing for the stage. So I think we are very ready to like win this tournament for the major, to go to the major. Yeah.
Like, I also know that you guys have been working really hard recently. You're prepared. You're ready to go for Stage 2. But I just want to take us back to the end of Stage 1. You lost that grand final. You really could have won that 2-0 and gone to the major. Did you guys just have to kind of take a little step away mentally, take a bit of a break, knowing for a while that it was going to be a big break? Did you guys have some time outside of the server to just kind of reflect on things and then know, okay, we'll get back into the server, pre-Stage 2?
Yeah, we did. After the loss, we just like kind of have some small talk at the end of the game, and then we just like kind of talk like how much like what did we mistake, what did we fail to do, what did we do wrong, and then we thought some of the solution while we talking, and then we decided we are gonna like work on it when we coming to the boot camp later on last month. So before last month, 2 months ago, we were just kind of like chilling, just like took a break for like 4 weeks, and then after that, and I just like his wife just giving birth to the daughter, so we were kind of like giving him like some time with his daughter, like a week, and then he just like went to our boot camp to like prep prep and scream with us. Yeah, that's what we have been doing.
Sounds good. Like Hollis. Now, one thing we mentioned on the broadcast is this is very different to last stage, where in week 1 and week 2 you actually lost and then came back throughout the stage and made the grand final. Now that you've started off the stage well, how do you guys maintain that consistency and make sure that you don't drop off towards the end of the stage?
We don't think much about like our consistency in the game day. We kind of focus on like our objective was to going first like our goal in here is to going to the playoff, right? So if we lose just some map, we don't really like think much about, you know. Our goal was just to go into the playoff. So we only focus on to the like to you know, because like if we like really like focus to be the one into the in the main state, it's gonna be like to overwhelm on our mental. So we gotta go step by step. Yeah, so just you can see from today, I would say that we prep a little bit for about them, but in the early game we managed to like take control overall like in every round, and it make us like easier to win the round. Yeah,
Now, like Hollis, I've got a question that I think everyone is dying to ask, which is, what do you think of Blitz?
Bliss. What do I think about Bliss? Like
What do you think?
the over two, right?
Yeah.
I mean, usually like we didn't play that much, but when we saw the opportunity that they are doing something like in our favor, if we playing base, we're gonna play them. It doesn't matter. If we don't have players, it's okay. We're fine. We could play like another way. So you could ban other the next team. You could ban it.
I think
It's
that's
all-
cap.
it's-
I think he's capping.
Hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we think. It only matters what he thinks. Like Hollis, thank you very much for joining us. Is there anything you'd like to say before we let you go?
Um, mm, no, I'm pretty much like happy with daily results. So maybe see you guys next week. I hope I'm be the one in tomorrow, not next week. Yeah.
That. Yes. Yeah, it is. It is tomorrow. It
Yeah.
comes around real quick, mate. We'll see you tomorrow, no doubt about it. Happy man. Happy man.
So what you're
and
saying
that's
is
the
they're
kind
going
of
to lose to
result
no
that
cap
would be.
tomorrow, right? And we'll see him next week.
Yeah, well, that's basically what
But actually,
he's
next
saying,
week's against Bleed,
unfortunately.
so maybe
So maybe, who knows? Who knows? Well, Guz has got him above Bleed in his predictions. So who bloody knows? Look, it's probably a little bit of a sour note to start the Asia League on. I genuinely thought, you know, that with Direwolves coming in from stage one, they looked pretty strong throughout the entire stage. Yes, they had some fumbles, but they also performed very well. There were not a lot of games that either blew out in either favor for Direwolves or against them. So to see this kind of after such a long break, it's a little bit heartbreaking, but Guz, fortunately, they can move on and start thinking about their next game. But I mean, speaking of our next game, it's probably, do I just say we need to be careful for what we expect?
I think you have to be careful for every game in Asia, Rob. Any game can throw something into the mix in this region, and even to an extent, match one. I don't think many would have pitched that to be as one-sided as it was. And I'm intrigued to see going forward. Does anyone call like Hollis's bluff on the Blitz? Do we see that establish a bit of a trend? I tell you what, the head-to-head against Bleed in the ban phase for that match is going to be real intriguing, especially being on the new patch. So a lot to look forward to for Fury, and for Direwolves, it's now about picking themselves back up.
Yeah, we look forward to Elevate and Rivals. Xenox, actually, are you taking a break next game? Or are you
no.
on?
Guz he's too stressed out after that shield play, so he's going to be moving aside for James. Moving on.
Okay, well, I might go back to you then, Guz. What do you think about Rivals? Do you reckon they've got a chance up against Elevate? I feel like Elevate are definitely cementing themselves as the third best team, and who knows what they've done in the break? They could really close that gap.
Yeah, I'm genuinely pretty high on Elevate. Again, because there's very limited data, we only have a single stage to go off, and they were very much building themselves up in said stage. Long break, a lot can go wrong. Equally, a lot can go right. So I am anticipating them to establish themselves as the third best team, and they should prove that in the next match.
All right, well, speaking of the next match, it's time for us to take a quick break. We'll be back after this with Rivals taking on Elevate.
Break!